My name is Brian Noel. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we're talking about something I'm very excited about, mainly because our branding guy, Joey Thompson, called me out on bad photography. To continue my efforts in phoning friends, I gave my friend Clay Goswick a call. He is an incredible photographer, brand photography, product photography, and I can't wait for him to share with us ideas around good brand photography. So, my friend Clay Goswick.
Hey Brian.
What's up, dude?
Good to see you.
I have a personal brand, Brian J. Noel. A big piece of that is personalizing the brand. A great way to do that is capturing photography. What is important when we're considering personal branding?
Something I do when I meet with clients is I try to figure out the culture of the clients. For Brian is very laid back. He's very in the moment, and so I've had some opportunities to work with you, and things I try to do is capture the environment that you create, and it's laid back, but it's very professional and very straightforward and very productive in a sense. So anytime I'm working with a client, I try to capture that culture that they're creating.
So the first step, really looking at the environment they're in and the culture that they're creating, and then try to capture that.
Exactly.
Now let me ask you this, and don't punch me in the face because obviously I don't believe it. Can I just go get a camera and be a photographer and capture awesome culture and environments?
I actually brought you one today. You're now a photographer. How does it feel?
I don't know what to do.
A true photographer, it's hard because you can start picking those people out from true photographers. Understanding lighting, understanding how this camera works, even though it's video, the elements of photography and capturing light and manipulating light in a sense. And it all comes down to understanding light, understanding what you can do to change light if it's going to look good on camera. There's a lot of elements that go into it, but the main thing is understanding light and how your camera reacts to that.
Being an entrepreneur, there's a lot to worry about, especially setting up something like a video blog or ensuring you have great photography. But I'd love to know from a photographer, why is it important that I have great photography for my company brand or even my personal brand?
People are visually stimulated now. That's the culture we live in. With most storefronts being online and being e-commerce stores now, I think it's important to constantly be changing the imagery and keeping it up to date. Some of the most successful online businesses that I see are constantly shooting stuff, always up to date. They're always showing their new products or what's happening within the store or behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Even photography studios showing behind the scenes of what's happening. And so I think it's really important to not only have photography, but have it up to date, just pay somebody.
So a big difference between just posting photos online, but just constantly updating profiles, allowing people, and I love what you said, like even studios posting behind the scenes. And we love to see that. We love to see what's going on. And I think as it relates to branding, it really personalizes the brand.
People want to be involved. I mean, when people buy into a brand or a company, they want to see everything. They want to see the lifestyle of the company. They want to see the employees day to day, what the heck they're doing, And so, I mean, even for me, my life to me isn't super exciting. Some days it is, some days it's, 8 hours behind a computer. But even behind the scenes pictures for me is a big thing because I want people to experience, hey, if we call Clay, this is what a shoot looks like for something like this, and to be able to almost imagine what's happening and to kind of get them to where we want them in a sense.
So personalizing the brand, allowing those who interact with the brand to really see and be involved, right?
Absolutely.
People want to be involved.
Get them involved.
If I'm paying for a product, a piece of what I'm paying for is not just the product itself, but a chance to be in the journey of the product development.
Yep.
That's kind of cool. Okay, so as it relates to a personal brand and photography, I can't hire a photographer every day. I want people to feel like they're on this journey with me. I don't know. What do I do?
Sure. So, that's a great question. So, unfortunately, I mean, unless you're Kanye West or, Jay-Z, Beyonce, I don't know. You can't have a photographer with you all the time, and you probably don't want them always around. It gets kind of awkward. So the biggest thing there is, honestly, in my mind, I would sit down and write out, okay, what events do we have planned? What is something that I want to communicate to our clients? Or what highlights do I want them to see? Having a photographer there on site for a couple hours honestly can supply you for the next 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So it's not that you have to have them there every day, but you can have them come in, and as long as you're well prepared and have things planned out, you can supply them, or a photographer can supply them with weeks of material, and then kind of almost as fillers, shoot it yourself on your iPhone. It's okay to do that.
So how do I ensure that what I want to present gets presented through photography?
It's a great question. Communication. Just had an issue with communication recently. Communicate, sit down, highlight points that you want to see a lot of. Certain elements, certain environments, certain looks. From a photographer standpoint, I'm sitting there thinking about lighting, lenses I'm going to be shooting. Do I need to bring external lights? Do I need to light the room? Is it going to be natural? What's the look? And then also provide your photographer with references. Go on Pinterest. Go on the computer. Go on your phone. We have all these little devices. Send me all the examples you just showed me here in this meeting. So a true photographer is going to be able to sit down, pick it apart, study it, and see what's going on in the image.
Awesome. So communicate. Provide lots of examples.
It's a good thing.
Be realistic. One thing that we do have is we have nice iPhones that do take decent photos. As we said, we want to hire a photographer, consistently for some of the big things. We want to plan that out. We want to work with our photographers. But in between, we want to capture our daily lives. What role does photography play on social when you follow a brand and you're like, they do it right?
I think the biggest thing is, and this kind of goes regardless of what industry you're in, is consistency. So having consistency day to day, week to week, stylistically speaking of the types of photos you're posting, regardless if you're paying somebody or you're doing it. And then also even, the colors that are being brought out in the images, or the type of post-production that's done. Because you don't want to have some really washed out look one day when you're really a modern, sleek company and you're sending mixed messages. You want somebody to be able to look at your image, not know what the heck you took a picture of, but know that that's their brand. So
it's not just consistency in like your logo or your colors, it's really having that consistency in photography.
Absolutely.
So you want them the same thing for photography and social. Well, we know at weddings there's certain moments you want to capture. We know at graduations there's certain moments we want to capture. When we have these big events in our life, it's pretty obvious what we want to capture. But sometimes I think with branding or companies, it's hard to know what are some of those elements that the audience really wants to see consistently.
Something that comes to mind when you ask this question is there's a production company that I go kind of year round, but more so around the holidays and Christmas and stuff, and they have me come in and shoot their stages that they put up. So something I try to do is, depending on the event and stuff, is I try to capture the guys working. They're very professional, good at what they do. They have a lot of very expensive equipment that the client's paying to have brought in. So I want to capture the employees working on it, using it, setting it up. Even at a concert, like once a concert gets going, like the arena full of people, or even before. So I have to think, I'm selling a product. I'm selling the company. I'm selling the employees that come with the equipment and the equipment. And so just highlighting like what is actually being done that maybe people don't see, because then that's painting a picture in their head of what they're paying for.
That's really cool. So when I show up to a concert and the stage is done and the gear's set up and the lights are done, I don't know that it took probably 30 people spending 12 to 24 hours setting all of that up. And I like what you said, it's the customer knowing what's being sold to them. So if I'm buying a stage, yes, of course, I want a finished product and I want it done well. But I more appreciate that when I see all that goes into that. So if we can capture that, just really capture what's going on, capture what's being sold, who's in the process, I think it humanizes.
Absolutely.
It's not just about a stage, it's about, a bunch of hardworking people. I mean, that's hard work.
Absolutely.
It's about the people behind putting that product together. So we really want to see like what we're trying to communicate to our audience. Obviously, if we're a health and fitness brand, we're going to show ourselves being healthy, right? That's why every fitness brand ever, it shows all of the people and their fitnesses, their physique. So, you know, for some people, again, if their brand is they're trying to project clothing or they're trying to be sexy, then they want to have a sexy brand. And then of course, the difference between are you going
East Coast
or West Coast? In other brands, right, if they're technical, you know, it shows them in front of a computer, right? If they're gardening or they're woodworking, it shows them in their element, in their environment.